I'll ask this question. What do Earl Campbell, Jim Taylor, Larry Zonka, Terrell Davis, and Leroy Kelly all have in common?
They're all running backs?
They're all Hall of Fame running backs, and they all are looking up at our next guest on the all-time Russian list, who's 26th all-time in the NFL Russian list with 10,591 yards, and now an acting career that just keeps on building and building and building. Johnson airs Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Bounce. Encores the next day, streaming on Brown Sugar. One of the co-leads and co-executive producers of this show is Thomas Q. Jones, back here on the program. How you doing, Thomas?
Rich, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to be on your show, brother.
Always a pleasure to be with you in your company. So before we get to your show and acting and things of that nature, what do you make of what the Bears are doing with Justin Fields and how the Bears fans might be receiving the news that their first-round quarterback is the only one who might not be starting or having any role in week number 1 of the season?
Well, I definitely think the Bears are ready for Justin Fields, and they're ready for his talents. I think he had a really good preseason. Obviously, it still is the preseason. It's a different speed and different energy in the regular season. But I can understand their frustration. They drafted him number 1. You want to see the guy play. He's excited them in the preseason, and they want to see that during week 1.
Because, I mean, you've had a front row seat for that sort of pressure and frustration, even when you went to the Super Bowl. So that's part of the history of what's led up to this moment. That's kind of putting a lid on top of that boiling pot. That Andy Dalton could turn down the pressure on that boiling pot with his play, but I don't know. Is my simple, I guess, setup to your answer of whatever you think there.
Well, I mean, Andy's experienced. He's been in the league for a long time. I mean, this is regular season. It's week 1. Everything counts now. Everyone's playing. Everyone's playing for, stats. They're playing for bonuses. I mean, it's the real deal now. And, I can understand why they would want to put Andy in first, give Andy an opportunity to go out there and kind of see what that offensive line is going to do, see what their receivers are going to do before they just throw Justin out there to the Wolves. So I can see it from both perspectives, but I definitely understand why the fans want to see him out there immediately.
And you also had a front row seat to another fan base that's scarred, one that includes me with a quarterback.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm putting my eggs in yet another new rookie quarterback basket, but here we are with the Jets and Zach Wilson. Do you have any thoughts on that and what you've seen out of him and what you think of the Jets going back to this well one more time, Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kid is talented. He's got a strong arm. He seems to have great instincts. But, like I said, it is the preseason. And I think Justin Fields made a comment about, the game was, I don't know if he said it was slower or what he said about the preseason, but when you get into regular season, the energy picks up. And then when you go from the regular season to mid-season, it picks up. Then from mid-season to the end of the season where you're fighting for a playoff spot, it picks up. And now it's the playoffs. And each game it picks up more and more until you get to the Super Bowl. So I think with these kids, they're super talented, but it's a little bit different for rookies on, day 1 of the regular season. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. I mean, it's very unpredictable. We've seen kids that come in with a lot of talent that all of a sudden just explode on, day 1. And then we've seen guys like me, for example. I was a 7th overall pick, and my first game in New York, I had 12 carries for 16 yards. That was my first game at the Meadowlands, ever in the NFL. It was 12 for 16. I'm the 7th overall pick. It's up in the air, man. We'll see what happens.
I got it out right here. You had 4 catches for 18 yards, too. Don't just sell your short. Don't sell yourself short, Thomas.
Yeah, I guess that added to my all-purpose yards.
Yeah, but I'm looking at you. You didn't have a 100-yard game in your career until you had week 2 of your 3rd year. You went to Seattle. And you lit it up.
Yeah,
173 yards rushing that day.
yeah, it was those were some tough times in Arizona, to be honest. Which really, forced me to have to, decide what I wanted my career to be. Am I going to go out as, a first round, draft pick that didn't pan out, or am I going to, have some sort of legacy in this league? So I wouldn't change anything. It was definitely tough times, but I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, no, and I'm not bringing that up just to say that, but it's just the conversation that you hear so many times. Thomas Q. Jones here on the Rich Eisen Show, actor and former running back in the NFL. That you're, it's a lottery how you get drafted and where you go and the luck that you have and a coach that you get and a system that you get and a coach and a front office that you get that's going to actually keep something in place and have a plan for you and put it into place. And that's why you take a look at quarterbacks and where they get drafted and who they get and what a problem is. I mean, Sam Darnold is now in year 4 for him, or year 5 now for him, where he's now in a new spot. He's in year 4 and he doesn't even know how good he can be. I mean, Stafford in year, now what, 12, 13, he doesn't even know. It's kind of crazy sometimes how it works like that.
It is, because the NFL is not just about talent. And I don't think a lot of fans really understand that. There has to be a lot of other elements for you to be able to maximize your potential and your talents. When I was in Arizona, at that time, Arizona was very cheap. And, just to be honest, I mean, they would go after veteran players that they didn't have to really pay as much. And even though they might be skilled and smart, they're not as athletic as some of the younger players. So in Arizona, we always had a mixture of older veterans that were like on their way out of the league and young rookies like me, who were first year, second year guys. So there were no middle tier players that kind of could even that out. And so it was a very tough situation because although I had leadership, physically a lot of those guys just couldn't perform, especially on offense. And so it left me in a bind for a few years. And then I was able to go to Tampa, where they had just won the Super Bowl, great front office. They were spending money. They also had a nice mixture of veterans and younger players. And then I was able to, adjust and see how a team should be run from the players, from the front office. And then the next year went to Chicago, and now I had all those experiences to, catapult me into my jumpstart my career in Chicago. But it took all of those things collectively for it to click for me, and for me to be able to be in a situation where I could be successful. So a lot of pressure on lottery picks, but it takes a lot for them to be successful, not just their talent.
How good is Derrick Henry, man? I mean, he's currently 100th. He's currently 100th on the all-time rushing list with 5,860 yards, and now he's going to get an extra game. I mean, he could be like 2 or 3 seasons from running you down. It's just insane what he's doing, right? And certainly in this passing league, let's spread it out. Let's get fast guys. You see what's going on in Miami. Everybody's got like track speed, play a quick game, make some sort of problem for, the safety that's too big to cover somebody small. Like, that's this game today. But now there's some old school guys just going to hit you in the mouth, and you're just going to think about it for 5-6 straight days in a defensive film room until it's time to actually see him in person. It's kind of a rarity. I wonder what you think, Thomas Jones.
I think he's a throwback. He reminds me of the backs that were there, and in the 70s, 80s, 90s, mid 2000s, my era. Until the game shifted a little bit into a little bit more of a passing league. He reminds me of those guys. He definitely would have been right in the mix with all those guys that I played with in that era. He's tough. He's big. He knows how to, protect himself, and he's been doing it since high school. I saw a high school clip of him. Well, he ran for like 10,000 yards in high school or something. I mean, I was looking up something. My junior and senior year in high school, my junior year I rushed for 3,319 yards, and my senior year I rushed for 3,007 yards.
Wow.
And someone sent me a list of the top 20 high school performances of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Derrick Henry, I had two of those years, and Derrick Henry had two, and one of them was like 4,000 something yards. And he's been doing this forever. I think he's the only person to go rush for 2,000 in college, 2,000 in the pros.
Obviously, high school.
2000s,
yeah,
high school, something like I don't know something, but I don't know, man. The guy's he's freaking nature. Love to run and watch him run, man. Tough, smart, got great body control. I mean, pull away speed, breakaway speed to be that big.
Who's the worst you ever stiff armed anybody, Thomas? Let's post
the worst.
Yeah, the worst stiff arm you gave to somebody.
I think the worst stiff arm I ever gave someone was we're playing the Dolphins when I was in New York,
mm-hmm.
and my first year, 2007. There's actually a clip of it on YouTube.
Okay.
And I actually stiff armed one guy 3 times on the same play. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Who was it?
But
what's his name? Do you remember?
Travis. I played with him in Kansas City too. He played for the Dolphins. He played corner.
Okay.
His name was Travis. I can't think of his last name.
I think his last name was Posterized. I think it's Travis Posterized.
Travis Posterized. That's it. I don't know how I could think of that. Yeah, that's his name, Travis Posterized. But I ended up playing with him in Kansas City, and his locker was right next to mine. Ironic. I mean, out of all the guys that I could end up sitting next to in a locker, it was the same guy that I stiff-armed in 2007, which was 3 years before that, 3 times on the same play. Travis Daniels, that's his name. I love Travis. Okay. That's my man. Great, really good
but he had to eat Thomas Jones's palm for at least 3 times in that game. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, he was in the way. So, that was probably one of the I guess the most vicious stiff arms. Derrick Henry stiff arm is, I mean,
nasty.
It's a weapon. Yeah, he might start getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties this year for that.
Just by getting off the bus, it might be considered unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. He's tossing grown men around like toys.
Thomas Q. Jones here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, let's talk about Johnson. That airs Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Bounce. What do you like about this? What do you want people to know about it? And check it out with encores the next day streaming on Brown Sugar. What do you got for me, Thomas Q. Jones?
Yeah, Johnson is a show that I'm executive producing with Cedric the Entertainer and my producer partner, Deji LeRae, who's the actual creator of the show. And we've been working on the show for the last 4 or 5 years. We were fortunate enough to have Bounce TV pick it up. And it's a show about 4 black men living in Atlanta and just some of the conflicts that we go through in our friendships and our relationships and just in the world we live in. It's a very honest show, where we talk about some controversial topics, but the ratings have been incredible. Actually, the first episode aired and it broke the Bounce TV record for most viewership.
Outstanding.
For an opening night. So it was over 2.1 million people, and the views have been incredible with feedback. So we're on episode 7. There's 10 episodes in the season. And, you can check it out. We're off this weekend because of Labor Day. We'll be back for episode 7 next Sunday, 8/7 Central on Bounce TV. You can also download the app Brown Sugar, and you can see all of the episodes to get caught up. But
what's it like?
Really excited.
What's it like working with DL Hughley?
Oh yeah, DL Hughley is incredible. Earthquake, they're hilarious. I mean, DL plays my uncle on the show, and it's cool because he's funny, but he's playing a serious character. So we get into some heavy conversation, and it's great work with him. He's super insightful, professional. It's been an incredible experience, especially to be a executive producer and a showrunner. Deji and I, we're the showrunners, so pretty much everything goes through us. All the writing, all the editing, music, everything goes through us. And it's been a great ride, man. I'm really excited. Definitely, you should check it out, man. Johnson on Bounce TV, 8/7 Central Sunday nights.
How do you like being management, Thomas? How do you like that?
I love it. I love it. I'm a very hands-on person.
Mm-hmm. Well, we just learned that. I think Travis Daniels learned that back in the day. But
yeah. Unfortunately, Travis had to learn that on camera.
Right.
But no, it's fun. It's a lot of responsibility. The rush of it is similar to what football felt like. It's high stakes all the time, and you're putting a TV show out there. People could like it, or they could say it sucks. And either way, you have to, deal with the results of that. And so, fortunately for us, people love the show. And I know one thing about me is I'm going to make sure that things are done right. And so it's really good to be in this position. And also now, we have other projects through our production company, and that we're shopping to network, so people can see that Deji and I, as showrunners and creators, we can take the responsibility of a major budget and turn it into a successful TV show.
Well, Thomas Q. Jones, thanks for calling in. As you know, any of your projects that you're doing, you always have a place here to call in and chit-chat and promote it. Always.
Well, Rich, I appreciate you, man. I love your Twitter feed, bro.
Thank you.
I'm laughing, man. Listen, man, you post some funniest stuff.
I'm cracking you.
I hate that I can't be in person.
Yes.
I'm in Miami right now, but definitely next time, man. I want to be in person, man, with you guys, man. I love the energy in there. It's so much fun.
Well,
thank you
right back at you. Let's do it, and you stay safe in the meantime.
Okay, thank you. We'll do.
I appreciate it. On Twitter, Thomas Q. Jones. I follow him. You should too. Same on Instagram, at Thomas Q. Jones. 10,591 yards. 7th overall pick in 2000. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.